So all in all, some really good stuff here. I'll just point out a few things that I noticed. Most of the stuff that I saw you notice as well. For example, this lead out push where you commented after the fact that you should not have praised. I agree 100%. When we look at where she lands, 1, 2, and looking at takeoff, it really wasn't much collection there. I mean, it wasn't an unreasonable turn. I mean, it's that balance between she goes wide, but she keeps her speed up versus the tight turn, which slows her down. But she did kick out behind you. And yeah, I just probably wouldn't have marked it with quite as much enthusiasm as you did. But she's looking good. One thing that I did notice, and I think it's on the next run, not this run, is there's several places where you're wanting to use deceleration as the primary turning cue when I think lateral motion would be better. And I guess it is on this run because it's right here. So deceleration is going to be better for when you want those like loop back towards you in the tighter turns, and you'll use your loop and wrap. The lateral motion is going to be a little bit better for your softer turns and for getting you ahead. So on this one here, you came out and used deceleration. So, right, you're standing still until after the point of commitment, which gets you a very nice turn. The problem is you then fall behind going to the teeter, and by using deceleration when you want this type of turn, you lose the ability to use deceleration for a super tight turn. Right, so now you start moving after she jumps, and then she head checks back towards you. So see here, right here, she's looking back at you and then redirects to the teeter. If you had done that more as a lateral send as opposed to deceleration, I still think you would have gotten an appropriate turn and you would have been able to stay ahead. That was one of the main ones that I saw, but there was somewhere else as well. I'll see if I can recall when I point it, that it was, you could have used more lateral motion. Now, on this fast, I was quite impressed. I mean, not only was the opening good, but she did a good job of redirecting out to the tunnel on the verbal. Right? I mean, all of this looking nice. And then even when you sent her back, she thought about it and went. I mean, I thought that was great. I was very pleased with that. And her teeter was pretty good. I mean, yes, you released with motion. That's the only thing that I'd say is like this would have been a good opportunity to run out past her. So you come down and pause, and then you release her as you take off running. So I feel like that's feeding into your lack of independence on the teeter. Run out pass, be able to go forward, and why not use fast as a great opportunity to train that. So that would be the only thing that I would say. All right. I think this run's pretty good. She didn't do much better on that lead out push. It's basically the same opening you had on the other one. She lands 1, 2, and jumps. Not true collection. Again, not unreasonable. I think you're going to have to, I would be very curious to do some side-by-sides with her, specifically on lead-out pushes, where, you know, like let's say you have 18 feet, 19 feet, 20 feet between jumps. Make her do 3 strides, and then do it again and make her do 2. All right, so when she does 2, the stride's going to be wider, but she's going to go faster. Make her do 3. You're going to get a tighter line to number 3. And side by side, because I've been doing some work with a Weimer on our student, and he bleeds off so much speed when he adds the stride that on the clock it keeps proving to be slower when he adds the stride. So on this, yes, I 100% agree with you. You release off the teeter early. Make sure you can lead out teeter, table. I mean, start line, contacts, and table all go hand in hand. So if you're having teeter issues, you're going to have table issues. And I don't know that in your case it's the issues as much as you're just being lax about not moving past, not getting ahead, leading out off the teeter, making sure that you can move around, leading out off the table, jump up and down, wave your hands. So just make sure that you work that. Jumpers. I'm thinking this was a very nice run. I'm trying to think. Most of the jumper stuff looked pretty good. I think this was a jumpers run. Yeah. This one was a nice run. All right. I didn't see anything major on this one. I'm trying to think. Yeah, this was where you used your wrap. So I think using the wrap on that, it's fine. I don't know that the Germans would have. The more I train with them and the more I study them, the more I'm getting a better idea of when they use it. I'm not sure that they would have used it here, but it wasn't totally inappropriate. But I think she was confused. I mean, she came out looking at you, and typically wrap and loop are used with turning towards you. So even though there was pressure there and you could see her switch leads, she still reverted back to, nope, it must be the loop there. So good recovery. Just make sure that you use some loops and wraps on rear crosses every now and then so that she does get more comfortable with them. But yeah, theoretically, the whole reason that you have two verbals, a loop and a wrap, is so that you can use them on turning towards you or turning away. If you were only going to use them on turning towards you, you would only need a singular verbal, and you could use like a seek, seek, or a dig, or whatever. That's what Abby does. Abby has one verbal for the dogs turning towards them rather than a left and right. So to me, part of it is so that you can use it on a rear. Just make sure that you practice that. Because I suspect on that one it was the verbal. I think if you hadn't said anything and you just reared, I mean, it was a pretty easy rear. Yeah, she gave you a lot of head check out of the tunnel that had nothing to do with the verbal, but she is Swift's daughter, and we know that head checking is a thing. Nice rear cross on the weave poles. All right. I will say that her running looked better as the videos progressed. Like on the very first run that you sent in, I thought, well, she looked a little slow and not as, drivey, and okay, she had some time off and she's not back into it. But as the runs progressed, especially I think it was the jumpers run, that previous one, the jumpers run where you said you only made it there for jumpers because you were with Mookie, I felt like she was really, really driving on that one. A-frame's looking good. I think this is the one. Is this yeah, bar, and then so on this, I watched this in slow-mo a couple times and I can't quite figure out exactly what caused her to hit the bar. Right, so as she took off, she took off early, but you're rotating, right? You can see that outside arm. You're turning in towards her. I mean, she should have known as you rotated, and then I think got in the air and went, oh no, we got to turn, and just hit it. And I think the panel's a jump that's often hit. You were a little bit on the line. Like, had the bar not fallen, and you can see here she lands, like she would not have been able to get a straight line into the weave poles. So try to go a little bit deeper off of the line. If you're still moving backwards, like see how when she hits right there, let's say right there, you still had to move backwards. Well, she then followed that motion. All right, so as you backed up, she kept drifting. As you went this way, she kept drifting that way as well. So watch that running backwards. Try to be off her line and then turn and drive right into the weave poles there. And then I think this is the one with the dog walk. Yep. Yeah, this was a tough course. I do not envy having a running dog walk on this one, because I looked at that when you said, when I saw you do the push, and I thought, oh, maybe, doing a push off of that wasn't the best choice. But then I looked at the course and I'm like, I don't know that you would have been able to do anything else. I think the push made the most sense there. It just was a hard skill. I don't know that a cross to have dog on right for the dog walk to then cut back and have to rear on that jump would make a lot of sense. There's another one, take advantage of moving out past the teeter. Right, she was naughty. I think she was naughty on that one. I couldn't hear the volume quite as well on that one, but I felt like as soon as it hit and as soon as you move past, that's where I was saying make sure these teeters aren't getting tied into motion. But see how nice that extension is there? This extension and that turn, like, so much better than the early runs in the weekend. And maybe it's just like finding the timing and having the multiple days, because like I said, this run and her speed and her extension is way better than any of those first runs. And yeah, too early on the name. Good girl. Good dog. But the fact that she was able to pull off to a tunnel when she was that close is pretty impressive. So little things here and there, nothing major. The biggest thing that I'd say is watch the teeter, watch the table, and make sure that you're using more lateral motion, not just deceleration. Otherwise, things are looking good. She looked better as she went. She's getting more extension. I feel like your timing's coming back together after that little bit of a break. So good work.